Okay, so welcome to the call, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Lots of familiar faces, and also some new faces and names. So that's great. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Ollie Gray. I've been in the Forex and sort of trading space since the start of 2020, and I've always been really interested in automated trading, using EAs and sort of leveraging technology. That's what I've always been into. And that sort of led me along the journey of the last few years. And basically, I've had like ups and downs. Some things have worked, some things haven't, and it's been a journey. And then last year was sort of like a breakthrough year, and I had quite a lot of knowledge at that point. And then that really was the point where things took off for me. And what I've sort of learned over the sort of that journey is that diversification and creating multiple income streams in this sort of space, in this industry, is a key thing to do and a very good idea. So just a quick disclaimer, because we are talking about money and ways to make money. So I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't any financial advice. Trading and Forex and investing is risky, carries a high level of risk, and you should always be willing to lose any money that you do trade with. And past results are not a guarantee of future results. Okay, so I'd like to make that clear. So what I've sort of realized over the last couple of years is that with automated trading and using EAs, for example, an EA is short for expert advisors, and the two sort of ways that I've sort of come to realize to make really good money with this technology is to have a long-term vision, especially if you've got a smaller starting balance, maybe 1, 2, 3,000. If you've got, say, like a 5-year game plan or a 10-year plan, and you can sort of make a return of around 5-6% on average over an extended period of time, you can turn that into a huge sum of money with the power of compound interest. If you're not sure what compound interest is, after this, Google, compound interest calculator, and see what a couple of grand, for example, would turn into over 5 years or 8 years. Or let me just put on mute 2 seconds. Jamie, if you could just keep on mute, if anyone on mute, that'd be great, buddy. And yes, so see what a small investment of say 2 grand could turn into over 5 or 10 years, with a return of 5-6% a month. It's incredible. And the other way is, of course, to have a large sum of money. So if you've got like 100 grand account, for example, and you make 6% on that in a month, 6% is on a 100 grand account. That is 6 grand. So that's the other way to do it, to have a large sum of money. But obviously, not so many people have that sort of the ability to fund a huge account. And also, especially if it's risk capital, they're definitely not willing to, because you only use money you're willing to lose. And it's okay to lose, and so even less people have 100 grand, which they are happily willing to lose. So that's more difficult. And if you're growing your account with compound interest, obviously the more you sort of withdraw and dip into, the slower it goes. So so this is why leveraging prop firms' money, which we're going to talk about in a minute and do a presentation on in a second to explain, how that works, is so fantastic, because it's, you're not risking your own money, it's their money, and it's a big amount, so you can withdraw all the profits, every month. And so that is more of a cash flow. So the way my plan, what I want to do with this going forward is, and it's difficult, I've tried to get funded accounts in the past, and it's very difficult until now. But so just to explain what my plan is, I want to grow my own accounts, and I want to view my own accounts as more like investments, which I want to grow with compound interest over a long period of time. But I want to use prop firms and leverage their money and see that as more of a sort of a cash flow, more like a wage, that I can pull all the profits from every month. And then, my thinking is, and my plan is to take those profits I'm taking from the prop firm accounts, and then, I can use it for a lot of different things. But one of the things I want to do is to take profits from the prop firms and put them into my own personal live account, which I'm going to be growing with other products and services that I know a lot of you guys use as well with me, with another company. So I want to use those tools and services to grow my own personal live accounts. But then I want to do what we're about to show you now to leverage the opportunity with prop firms. So that's enough from me. I'm going to introduce you now to a friend of mine, Jamie, who is the founder of this company called. I'll let him introduce his company. I've known Jamie for a little while now, and he's an incredible guy. I don't think I've ever met anybody who's as hardworking and as dedicated and is just generally as competent at what they do than him ever. And also, you know, his character as well. He's nothing but, you know, less than incredible. So I'm going to let him take it away and present. So, Jamie, over to you, buddy.
Hey, Ollie, thanks for the intro, buddy. Always good to be with you, and nice to see some familiar faces and some new people. Awesome to see you guys. Ollie, if you could make me the host again, just so I can open up the slides in a second. But yeah, so I'll introduce basically how this came together. I got a bit of an echo here too, if you can just watch the mutes. So like Ollie, similar journey. I started using EAs about 5 years ago. So I was never one to get into trading to learn how to trade. I actually just saw the power of using the AI as a tool to create another additional income stream for myself. And of course, if you've been around the trading or you've tried different robots, not all of them worked out, right? So there's a lot of trial and error, but eventually we came across some solid ones that would do really well. And the biggest challenge that we kept running into helping people all over the world with EAs was if you didn't have a large amount of capital, as Ollie mentioned, it was pretty difficult to have a substantial income stream from it. Of course, if you take the power of compound interest and you go over a few years, then a 5% a month deal can really make any amount of money attractive. But when these prop firms came up just last October for me, I was so mesmerized by them. And luckily, I wasn't very skeptical, just because a really good friend of mine that I've known for years was already succeeding with them. And so he introduced the whole concept to me, and it just made sense. And I trusted him. So of course there was a bunch of people. Yeah, Rob, we'll open it up for questions at the end for sure, buddy. There was a bunch of people claiming that they could pass my challenges with prop firms and get me accounts, and a couple people actually were able to, which was amazing. And a few more weren't able to. You know, they talked really well, but when it came down to it, they couldn't deliver. And then the next side of it was, okay, we can actually pass these things. Well, how do we grow them? Like, how do we actually make profits so we make some money and it's worth it? And again, trial and error. Went through people that claimed they could manage it, claimed they were master traders, claimed they had a connection to this guy and that guy, and we ended up losing a bunch of money in accounts that way, unfortunately. But that's what drove me to really 100% all out focus on this niche the last few months and figure out the system, you know, mainly because it just seemed like no one really knew what they were doing. Like, they talked a good game, but they really couldn't deliver. So figured it out, you know, a couple accounts later, wanted to help my buddies, and then, you know, my family, and they had some friends and family that they wanted to help. And a couple months into it, the intention at first was, you know, just to have some passive income. And next thing you know, this has been the most active thing I've ever done, because everyone all over the place is asking me to help them and their family and their friends. And so in December, I decided to put the company together and actually, you know, make it scalable to service people. And it wasn't until March, after working behind the scenes nonstop for the last few months, putting the systems in place and making sure everything was solid, and making sure we could handle people, that we opened the doors just a couple weeks ago. And it's been overwhelming, to say the least. It's been resonating with a lot of people. And of course, we've had an amazing success rate. So it's, I think we were up to 50 accounts just last week. So handling all that's been a wild challenge, but also exciting. So I'll open up the slides. I don't usually use slides, but I'll show those to you guys just for a couple reference points. I know a lot of you have trading experience, a lot of you have EA experience as well, but some of you are brand new to this whole world. So I'll go over a few points and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. Ollie, did you make me host there, bud? Okay, cool. Okay, can you see my screen, Ollie? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can. But
All right, so really simple. We called it Incomation because the whole intention behind it was income automation. You know, we wanted to make this as simple and as streamlined to the average person, whether you're a Forex trader already and just want some more systems in place, or you've never even heard of Forex and you just want to have another income stream. That's our intention, is to just do all the hard work for you, and Ollie can attest to how simple it was. Well, and there's a few of you on the call here too that I recognize, that maybe, not to put you on the spot, but we could open up and just have you share something about your experience with the program the last week or two since you got your account. So really quickly, I'm sure a lot of you have Forex experience. So we all, most of us know that it's the largest industry in the world. This is record breaking the last couple of years too, especially with everyone going online and everyone being forced out of work and AI starting to take jobs, and a lot of things happening that a lot of people all over the world now are looking for additional income streams, and Forex has been a pretty go-to place because of how simple it is to do it anywhere in the world, do it on your phone. But what most people find out is it may be simple, but it is not easy. It's not an easy skill to acquire, and it takes a lot of years. And you know, if you're not using demo accounts, it takes a lot of money to learn the lessons too. So again, going back to my first experience, just seeing the vision of AI and how that was only going to get better and better, and it just made so much sense to me that the banks and the big hedge funds were already using these automated systems. And so if you haven't heard of prop firms before, they've been around for decades. Traditionally, you know, they'd be the people on Wall Street that they hired and trained traders to handle their money and build, you know, grow these large multi-million-dollar funds. But they would come into the office, you know, 9 to 5 and work in front of the computer and trade manually. And then it evolved to, okay, it was basically, they were just monitoring robots on the computer doing most of the trading automatic. And then just the last couple years is when they went virtual. So it's a really new space, the way that they're doing it, the prop firms. So they have all this money and they are looking for traders. One, they're looking for skilled traders. So it's a recruiting firm, right? They want the best traders, and they also want the best trading systems. And so that's why they open up these challenges, which is, okay, if you can do X amount in X amount of time, then we'll trust you with an account, but only if you can stay under X amount drawdown and loss, or else we'll take the account away from you. So that's how they protect themselves too, right? So typically a challenge, and it varies by firms, and there's so many of them now. Typically it's like a 30-day window. You got to get 8 or 10% profit target in the month. You can't hit 5% drawdown in a day, or else you lose the challenge, and you have to pay a challenge fee. So of course, 95-6% plus fail the challenge. As Ollie said, it's a really hard thing to do. It's a hard thing being a trader. And it's really hard to find these EAs that can run on prop firms because of how restrictive the requirements are. So that's obviously what we figured out is, okay, well, if you could figure out an EA, you know, and if we had the proper settings on it to protect it from hitting drawdown, and it was running conservatively, we thought, well, hey, it only costs about $1,000 to get access to a $100,000 prop firm account. I mean, we're happy with getting 1% a month on that thing, you know. 1% of 100,000 is 1,000, and you're already making your money back month one, and then you got an income stream. So luckily we were able to find two systems. One is, and I'm not really following these slides to be honest, but one is the HFT, which is a high frequency trading system. Okay, now this is a complete game changer, because where most firms and most EAs would, like if you did find an EA that could pass a challenge, we do have one, it's going to take 2 to 3 months to be conservative and get the funded account. Whereas the HFT, we're getting accounts in 10 days, passing both phases. So from start, your first challenge, to getting your funded account, a 10-day turnaround, which is unheard of. And so a lot of the top firms, they just stopped allowing HFTs because of how successful they were. So we've of course dialed it down to which ones are the most well, that will allow us to do it, and constantly looking for more partnerships with that. I'll go over our go-to prop firm, which is Next Step Funded. So you go to nextstepfunded.com. That's the first thing you do. You get one of these prop firm challenge accounts, and then you need to pass the challenge. Well, what we decided to do with our company is just give access to people to use our HFT, and we handle it all for you. So essentially you're just getting your account, you're purchasing a pass from our company, and you're sending us the account details, and we pass it. And if all goes well, 10 days later, you're past both phases and you get access to your $100,000 or $200,000 account with Next Step. And then the next phase after that is, okay, well, if you do know how to trade, of course you can do that. If you have your own EA that you think will run safely on the account, you can do that as well. Or you can use our system. So we give access to people to use our system, and essentially we don't charge you anything for that. There's no setup fee or anything. We split the profits with you on the back end from the firm. So when you start trading on the account, when you get the funded account, it's 30 days later that the firm will do a payout. So whatever the profit was, and then they'll take a split as well. And these are the fees. So to the firm, you go to the prop firm nextstepfunded.com, you're paying $500 for a $100,000 challenge, or $1,000 for a $200,000 challenge. And then you're bringing it to us, and you're paying us $1,000 to pass the 100, or 1,500 for the 200,000. So all in for 100,000, you're looking at $1,500. That's US dollars. And then on the profit split, so 30 days later, when you qualify for it, we've been on average conservative settings getting anywhere from 2% up to 4%. We don't want to drive things any further than that. It would be too aggressive. And then you're given a portion to the prop firm, and you're going 50-50 with us on whatever the profit is on the back end. So here's an example. If you had a $200,000 account and we do 2% on the month, remember, it's completely handled by us. You're partnered with us. So we pass the challenge, then you give us the funded account if that's what you want to do, and we run it on our systems and manage it. And then payout time, you send 20% to the firm, and 50-50 split between the client and our company. And of course, just doubles if it goes to 4%. And everyone started asking, because they obviously were loving the results they're getting. They're like, okay, well, can I tell my friends? And that's how we got to this place. So then people were asking, okay, well, is there affiliate program? So we created one. It's really simple, not an MLM, just a 2-level direct affiliate program. So any revenue you bring the company on the upfront, so on the passes, you'll get 20% back to you. And then if you do know other affiliates, you can sign up affiliates under you as well, and you'll get 10% on all of the revenue that they bring. And that goes also for the profit share. So on the back end, when the client goes 50-50 with us, on our 50%, let's call it $1,000, say the company gets $1,000 on the profit split, you'll also get 20% of that, so 200 to you. Or if it was signed up by one of your affiliates, you'll get 100. And that's a monthly residual for the lifetime of the customer. We don't limit that. Just want everyone to grow together. I think that's my last slide. Okay, good enough. So I made some slides for you, Ollie, but honestly, I just usually is pretty casual with the people. So let's open it up for questions, and I'm sure some of you, depending on your experience levels as well, have different questions. So let's do that, and I can dive into as much details as you want. I'm a transparent person. Just want to help people with this, gain access, and actually last week, we just as an example, we had to raise our prices because we calculated our costs, and we were actually paying for a lot of the accounts to come through, as in our costs were more than people were paying for the passes. So we had to up things a little bit. My point is we just want to make it accessible to as many people as we can and help you guys out. So ask any questions, feel free.
Is that questions by chat or just live?
Sorry, what was that, Rob?
Is that questions by chat or by
live?
Yeah,
both. Yeah, go ahead if you want to unmute yourself.
We have to pay for this challenge. Is there a guarantee that you will pass the challenge?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do guarantee it on our side. So if you fail, we're going to refund our fee if something goes wrong. But of course, the risk is that the money that you sent to the prop firm, because they don't refund you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you use an AI for passing this challenge, and you use the same AI to, after you pass the challenge, to put it on your account?
Good question. Two separate. So the first one that we use to pass is HFT, high frequency trader.
Yes.
As I mentioned, most of the firms won't allow it because of how successful it is. And the ones that do allow it, they'll only allow it for the challenge, not to run on the live account. And so after we pass and get the funded live account in 10 days, we put it on our EA, our regular robot on conservative settings to go for the 2 to 4% for the month.
And why don't they allow to use the HFT? Because then they earn also more money.
Well, for one thing, it doesn't usually work with the live servers because the spreads are different. So it's pretty technical, but what the HFT is doing is an arbitrage. So it depends on the spreads of the server. And we haven't actually, because there's been a couple companies, I won't name any names, but there's been a pretty big firm that said, hey, yeah, we'll allow you to, I got some feedback happening, Ollie. We'll allow you to use it, but then when we tested it out, their servers and spreads, it just doesn't work. It's not profitable. So that's why.
If you make me host again, Jamie, I can mute.
Oh yeah, sure. And let me stop this share here. Okay.
I'll mute anyone.
Yeah, good question, Rob. Any other questions?
Is it possible to grow with the profit you make from the prop firm, that you start another 100,000 and another 100,000, like also like compounding?
Yeah, so two things on that. The payouts are every month, so you don't compound your profits in an individual account.
Yeah.
And then each firm has a different policy with how many accounts or how much total funding you can access. This one, Next Step, that we're using allows up to 600,000, but no account can be over 200,000. So essentially, if you wanted to max that out, it's 3 accounts at 200 each. Yeah, exactly.
And then you have, every time you have to pass the challenge?
On each account, yeah.
On each account, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And other, how many prop firms you have connection with that are allowed to use this HFT?
On the live account or
No,
or what
on
do you
the, just for the challenge.
on the challenge?
Is it
Yeah,
only
there
next
are.
month, or you have more prop firms?
Next Up is our go-to because our success rate is basically 100%. Out of the 50 accounts last week, we had 2 that had some slippage problems, and I was able to get those fixed by an inside connection, and so those were solved, and so we're at 100%. And I'm testing 3 more right now, 2 that are working, but we need to make sure a bunch of things before we actually recommend it to people. So right now we're just using, as far as sending clients to Next Step while we're running that up, but we are expanding into other firms and actually working on becoming our own firm too in the next phase.
Okay.
Do you have different packages as well, isn't it? It's not only the 100 and 200 pack.
Those are the only 2. We did have lower ones as of last weekend, but again, going over the cost, we realize
It's better
because
to have only 2 is simple as well, isn't it, to manage?
Yeah, and the thing is, it costs the same amount for us to set everything up and run it until payout time. So it just wasn't sustainable. It was costing us too much actually to set up the 50K, for example. And it takes us the exact same, effort and system and everything. So we had to put a minimum 100,000 on it.
Okay.
Angel's asking for the pricing slide again. Yeah, I can pull that up.
Jamie, do you know if is it possible, if taking a 100K account, is it possible to then upgrade it and pay you the difference later on, to start off and test the waters with a 100K account and then upgrade? Or is it a matter of jumping into the one that you're intending to stay in?
Yeah, good question. They don't allow merging of accounts. So after you pass one, that's the one you have. And then if you want to scale up or get more, you have to do another challenge and get another account.
Okay.
And is it guaranteed, Jamie, that they pay out? Because I read some reviews on Trustpilot, and some reviews were about that the prop firm didn't pay out.
Yeah. So first of all, no matter, I mean, last week we saw the biggest, one of the biggest banks go under. So at any point, a company could fail for multiple reasons. I know at Next Step, they just literally 10x'd their business in the last month. So they had some growing pains, and there were some delays, but they've handled all the payouts so far. There hasn't been any problems on that. But I will say that one of the major reasons that I'm moving our company into actually being the firm is so that we control that process even more. Yeah. The other thing too is Next Step is partnered with 8Cap, which is a regulated and licensed broker out of Australia. And so we feel pretty comfortable with that relationship. They're a major large player in the space, and they're the ones that are really handling the whole payout process. So anything can happen, to be honest with you, Rob. And so we're mitigating our risks with multiple other firms and options, but we haven't had a problem so far. And of course, with so many growing pains, you're going to get some negativity too, as far as bad reviews.
Jamie, considering that the world's financial situation, at least from where I'm looking, is a little bit haphazard,
Yes, sir.
And I'm just wondering, how likely is it that your EA, if something were to take a downturn very quickly, how likely is it that your EA would not hit that 5% stop and therefore close the account?
Yeah, great question. So that's really, as you can imagine, the only risk that you're taking on is you'll lose that initial challenge fee in the beginning if we end up losing the accounts, right? Whether it was the first month before payout or you had a couple payouts or whatever. We do have some important parameters in the EA that no matter what happens to the market, it's going to close things out before that 5%. You know, so we have those precautions. The other thing we feel comfortable with is the EA that we're using has a track record of 10 years. I've never seen an EA have that long, and we're partnered directly with the developer. So he's supporting us every day, and he's built and designed the EA with additional settings for specific prop firm requirements. But of course, anything can happen, shaky world, but we've done everything we can on our end to mitigate that risk. And we're also testing, like I acquired 3 other EAs last week that we're putting through testing, and we'll constantly continue to acquire more, just because no matter how good a system is working today, it could stop working tomorrow. So we're making sure we stay ahead of all those things.
Great. Cool. Sounds good, Jamie. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, bud. Thanks for the questions.
Hey, Jamie, I've got a question. If the prop firm...
Yeah, I recognize you.
Hey, how's it going? I think with Next Step, I've seen online again that they've changed their position to say, I think to have a less of a profit share early on. So as you presented in the slide there, the first month is different from the third month. And I think they said that they were doing this to protect their business because they know people are using high frequency trading to get in, and that's the majority. So obviously they're aware of the HFTs, and that means that I guess it's a good thing, right? That they've changed their model to make their business more sustainable. But is it possible that they could just pull that or pull accounts for any reason to say either you're not allowed to use EAs or HFTs and just change their business model?
Yeah, great question. Of course, and another reason why we're working on becoming the firm ourselves to control more of the process, right? Because at the end of the day, they can make any shifts that they see fit, at any time. But I do agree with you as far as glad that they made those shifts, because number one is they wanted to continue allowing the HFT, so that was nice. They're definitely well aware of it. Majority of the challenges coming through are passed with it. And second, like you said, just making adjustments to be sustainable for the long term. It's no different than what we had to do last weekend when I realized our acquisition costs and set up everything for the accounts. We had to raise things and limit those minimums. So at the end of the day, unless I'm sitting in the owner seat of the prop firm, I can't guarantee you, the payout, unfortunately. But that's why I'm working really hard to get our own setup so that we can control even more of that process, and I can sit here and be more transparent with you and guarantee that side of things, because of course that is the one variable. So between working on the multiple firms, to mitigate our risk, and becoming our own firm, those are the two best ways I know of right now to stay ahead of that.
And just another, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Sorry, just one more question around the EA. So if an EA was to get into a trade, a high drawdown trade, I know that you have a stop level that will close out the account, but does the EA then just drop out of that high DD and then start trading again immediately after the 5% or the 4.5% is hit or whatever? Or does it stay in that high drawdown?
Yeah, so there's a few different settings in place because of the parameters with the firm. So one is the daily, but then they also have a max total. So there's a couple things that the EA is going to do to make sure that it stays under those daily and total requirements. And Ian, if you don't mind, I'm sure for the new people, because you've had a little experience with us passing a couple accounts now, if you could just share kind of what your experience was, like if you're skeptical at the beginning, or what your process was of seeing it kind of happen for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah, look, I heard of this through Ollie, who set up this call, and I've had some experience with EAs trading on my own personal account as well. and I'm in a situation now, along with a bunch of other people, where we've been in a trade of high drawdown for probably 4 or 5 months now, and it's been quite, risky at times, because I've hit sort of personally 81% drawdown, which has been very, very uncomfortable, close to blowing my account. And so I've got to, when I heard about this, and basically you're using other people's money to trade, and large volume at that, it just seemed absolutely ideal. It's a no-brainer. You're using someone else's money, you don't take any of the losses yourself. The prop firms take that. Again, removing a massive amount of risk there. And what other? Yeah, and you have the benefit of accumulating a large number of accounts, which most people don't have $600,000 at their disposal, and to get an income from that is incredible. So yeah, it ticks all the boxes. It almost seemed too good to be true. I have purchased two $200,000 accounts and a 50,000 as well, actually, as a trial. But I've just gone all in with 2 accounts, 2 large accounts. I have passed the test, phase 1 and phase 2 for the $50,000 account within the 10 days easily. And my second $200,000 account, I think, has just passed phase 1, again, very easily, passed it in 5 days. So I've got a lot of confidence in passing the tests. I don't have any experience to share in actually, trading on that account yet. But I have every confidence that that's going to go well. And I'm just looking for the downsides, for the holes, because I haven't found one yet.
Thanks, Ian. And just to be clear too, how much of the process did you have to do? What was that experience like?
Oh, very, very limited. I must say, Jamie, I don't know when you sleep, but if you send Jamie a WhatsApp message, he normally replies within a minute. And it's been an incredible service, actually. Very polite, very prompt. And yeah, everything is sorted within a matter of minutes. And it's a very personal service, very open, very honest. I get responses to all of my questions immediately. And I've asked some tough questions. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better service. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that, bud.
James,
yes.
I have a question for the future. You told me you have a good connection with the guy who built this HFT for passing the challenge.
The EA, sorry. Well, and the HFT, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you have a bot who is making 2 till 4% a month. But there are also bots like we had Itina, and she was making like 10% a month. Is this guy who developed the HFT also busy with developing a bot that has a higher win rate?
Yeah, great question, Rob. So just to be clear, the HFT developer, that's a system that really runs differently than an EA, but it is an EA at the end of the day. And that one's usually doing 1 to 3% per day, just to be clear. And that's how we're able to pass the challenges really fast. Yeah. So it's a different developer that we're using for the EA that's doing 2 to 4% a month. But I will say he has years of history, getting around the 7% average. But what we had to do, Rob, is just to make sure things were staying under all those parameters. We had to go really, ultra conservative with it. Yeah. We do give people 3 options when they submit their funded accounts, as far as their risk appetite. So conservative, around 2%, moderate 3%, and aggressive 4%. And to be honest, we've been pushing more than that. We just want to under promise and over deliver at the same time as well. But there's certain things that we can do to the EA to maximize and to increase it if you're got a little more risk appetite on the aggressiveness. Worst thing, of course, that it can happen is that it will hit the daily
5%.
loss limit, or before it won't hit that, but I mean, it will get close and it will wipe out the profits for a few weeks, but we've made sure that it won't lose the account.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to remember too, keeping in mind that which the one that you mentioned, Athena, by the way, love it, great for personal money. Remember that 2% of someone else's 100,000 is a lot different than 10% on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks for the questions, bud. Anyone else?
I think I saw one or two in the chat, Jamie, actually. I've lost it now.
Okay, sure.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, there's a
So-
few here.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, guys.
You go ahead, Jamie. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I see these here. Challenge. Okay. Pass guarantee. 50%. So Ike asks, is that 50% of the 80% profit? Okay, good question, Ike. So basically, we're just going 50-50 with you, whatever the payout is after the firm takes their cut. It is 20% to the firm right now, but I updated the slides because as of April, they're wanting to implement the first couple months, a different, like a sliding scale. So 60% for the first month, 40% for the first month, 30 for the second, and 20 for the third. But it's 20% right now. So whatever the firm gets, you'll get the payout after that. And then we're asking you to be responsible to send whatever 50% of your payout is. Okay. Sliding scale. Okay, good question, Andrew. Does the EA create different trades for each trader, or is it a centralized system? So first thing is the firms, there are some that are starting to allow it, but most of the firms won't allow copy trading. So we made sure that's not what we're doing. We're setting up independent EA licenses on independent VPS servers. And we have a few measurements or requirements on your end, like not to log into your MT4, for example, only watch it on the firm's back office. And then there's different pairs that we use. And then the main thing is what the firms are looking for is comments and magic numbers from these systems. Because, for example, a copy trader will have one magic number for the master account, and it will have that magic number for all the copy traders. And that's how it's very obvious to the firm that it's copy trading. So we're able to change our magic numbers. We're able to mix and match our pairs depending on your risk tolerance. Those three options we give you. We add different strategies to the EA as well. So there's a multitude of things that we do to make it different for each trader. So that's a good question.
Yes. That's why it's
Tony,
probably also lower. Yes.
What was that, Rob?
No, I was just thinking for myself. That's why, because you personalize it, it's probably that's also the reason why the profits are lower, between 2 and 4%, because you have to.
Well, yeah, and the main thing we keep, the reason why it's lower, the main thing we need to keep the drawdown really low.
Yeah.
We need to keep the risk on the account really low to not hit the parameters and lose it. Tony asks, are we all locked into the same broker and EA? So Tony, the firm is the one that partners with the broker. So in this case with Next Step, the broker is 8cap. And the account will be in your name. And then you sign an independent contractor type agreement with the firm. And at the end of the month, whatever profits are on the account, they'll take their cut and then they'll pay out you the rest. And then if you're using us to manage it, which in most cases is the situation, you'll send the 50% to us. If you don't, we'll just turn off your system. So that's okay too. George asks, hi, Ollie, hit hit traffic coming home. I think George just came in. George, we're just wrapping up, but we'll get the recording for you.
For me, the last question. I had a terrible week, personal and my private life, like police
Okay.
and not seeing my little child, terrible. But because I wanted to start already earlier last week, how do we start?
Yes. Sorry to hear that, by the way, Rob.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Life's a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah.
So to get started, I'll show you the web page here. So you'll get your link from Ollie, who invited you guys here. And this is what.
Or if there's a few people that might have been invited by friends of mine. So if if
apologize. So whoever brought you here, whoever introduced you to us, will have their own link to give to you, and it will just bring you to our main page here. And you'll just scroll down. The first step you'll do is go into next step and choosing whether you want either 100 or 200,000. There are people that decide to do multiple off the bat, so it's up to you, but you can have multiple up to 600,000 total in your own name. If you want more than that, it's got to be, a family member, or like I said before, we're working on different firms. Second thing, you'll come back to the site here and you'll see below that you just choose the pass, whether it was 100,000 or the 200,000. You'll send us the account details, and we'll keep you posted on passing phase 1. As soon as we do, you'll get phase 2 account details, and you'll send those back to us, and then you'll get your funded account after that. If you go with us for management, if you're not trading it yourself, then we'll set it up on the EA after that. Again, no additional charge, no setup fees. We'll just do a partnership agreement that on the back end, you'll split the profits with us. So these are the passes here. You just come and click the one that applies to you. There's some more you can read, some client testimonials, and also an FAQ and a Facebook group. This is where a lot of the members are posting their results. So that's reassuring if you're brand new to this, to go in there and see that it's not just us telling you how great it is. There's a bunch of our clients that have already gone through the process that are posting. And that's it. So just step 1, go into the firm, get your account. Step 2, send it to us. And we take it from there, really. We pass the challenge, update you with the funded account, and you decide if you want to trade the funded account yourself or give it to us to put on our system. Also, something that's come up for people is they ask, for example, they don't have the funds. They don't have the funds quite yet to create their own account, but they know a few people or they want to help people with this. We open up the affiliate program. You can also get that link from the person that referred you here. We don't charge anything for the affiliate program, so you can totally do that. It's one or the other or both. You don't have to be a client to refer people to us, and we'll pay you commissions that you could use for your own account if that's how you want to do it. So I just want to make that clear too. Is there any other questions?
Do you have any presentations in another language? Or only in English for now?
Good question. I got one coming up in Italian, so I did find a translator that she's from Russia and does a few different languages. But which language are you, Matthias?
I will need in Spanish and French.
Okay, yo hablo español más o menos, poquito.
Bueno, podemos presentar en español.
Perfecto, vamos. My Spanish is okay, but not enough to do a full presentation. But
no, but
happy.
Like I said, if you record a proper presentation in English, we can do translations in another language. I need in French and Spanish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we can subtitle it. I'm open to the idea of doing it live with the translator as well. We have people that we can.
Yeah,
bring
because
on.
I saw in Google, even on the another business, they have simultaneously translators. You can do a presentation, they can translate straight away. But yeah, we can sort it out.
Yeah, we can definitely sort that out. Open to all that. Thanks for
Amazing.
asking. Any other questions, guys?
Hiya, Jamie. It's Tony. Apologies if you've already answered this. I lost a bit of signal earlier, but to have the risk of the 2 to 4%, which is phenomenal, would that be the default risk level, the bottom one, or would that be the sort of the second or third level? I'd be more than happy with that.
Sorry, Tony, there's some background noise and I didn't really catch your whole question.
Okay.
Can you repeat it here?
Yeah, sure. The 2% a month, 2 to 4%
Yes.
a month, would is that generally being being received by the low risk account?
Yeah, good question. So of course, all past results, right, and never guarantees the future. But how we've figured it out is the conservative. We'll give you 3 options when you submit the funded account: conservative, moderate, aggressive. So conservatives around 2%, moderates around 3%, and aggressives around 4%.
Okay,
That's where we're at right now.
cool. And I guess once you've set that in a system, you can't change it from one to another.
It'd be easier not to, but we're not not opposed to making a shift like that if that's something that happens. It hasn't popped up like that before, but we'd be open to do that, Tony.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yep.
Jamie, have you had any accounts that have been closed so far on the aggressive strategy?
No, we haven't. And of course, I'm the one leading the way, so I got to go super aggressive and really test the boundaries, right? But so surprisingly, no, we haven't lost any. So that's been great. And like I said before too, even on the aggressive, we have those measurements in place that the worst thing that can happen is you'll wipe out your profits for a few weeks, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure you don't lose the actual account. Like it will stop itself and stop all trading when it gets to that point.
And let's say if we reach it, it's 5% a day, the day, and how is the maximum? Because if you reach 4.45, you still can play with that account, of course, but then daily is 5%, you told before, isn't it?
Yes,
But
yes.
what is the maximum on the
Yeah.
month? I don't know.
Good question. Again, it varies by the firm. This one that we're talking about today is 12% max.
12%.
But it's counted from the account balance. So if you were, for example, if we already had 5% profit on the account, we would have a total of 17% swing in the other direction.
You still have
before we
more. You earn more money. Okay, it's not too bad because if you are aggressive, and you reach 4.5, maybe you are lucky, you make some money already, and that counts on the month as well.
I can already hear what setting you're going to submit.
No, I will have 3 sets, 3 different accounts, because I need to show people that.
Yes, that's
in the
a great
future,
idea.
I will start with the 2% account, then next account 3%, then the last one will be aggressive. But yeah, I will have the 3 accounts on my name and another 3 accounts on my wife's name, so on and so forth.
Awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the total max loss is from the account balance. So if we gain some, then that counts towards it. And then the daily is reset every 24 hours. So if we hit 4%, the day before, it's back at 0 the next day.
Amazing. Well, thanks, Jamie. That's it's coming up to the hour, so I don't know if there are any other questions, but wait. I'll get this recording out to everyone, guys. Well, if you're on my email list, I'll email it out. If like Jamie was saying, if you're invited here through somebody else's, get back to them. If you don't see my email, just message me. Obviously, I know most of us are connected. Look, thank you so much, Jamie, for jumping on. Really appreciate it. I know it's the middle of the night. Well, doesn't really matter to you anyway, but it's probably about 3
It's like afternoon to me. It's only 3 a.m.
I really appreciate you jumping on, buddy. It's
Yeah,
great.
great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to get everyone and bring everyone in. So I'm so excited about it. And I love, sharing, what I'm up to with people, my friends. So if there are any other questions, after the recording comes out, just let me know, and I'm sure I can ask Jamie. But yeah, I think we'll as you wanted to say, Jamie, I think we'll call it a night, and just really look forward to some other people, joining this and coming on the journey with us. It's going to be a hell of a ride.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we covered everything for today for sure. Thanks for having me, Ollie, and appreciate everyone that's here.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
for
Thank you,
today.
Ollie.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ali. Awesome
Guys.
stuff.
Night, guys. Cheers. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.